perfectly. Identify. Oh.
Good evening, everybody. It is Saturday, April 11th, and it's Hopper's birthday, so I had to get that out there real quick. It's Jaded Roundtable. If anybody wants to call in, it's 718-717-8296. Hope everybody had a fun week. Fun comes before productive as far as I'm concerned. And let's see, it's been hot as hell here in North Carolina. Had to put the air conditioning on for the first time, and it's only April, which is a little weird to me, but, you know, whatever. So I'm checking out to see who's in the chat room. Oh, I got Road Dog in there. He's talking, he's chatty tonight. Look at that.
Well, he was, anyway. I don't know what's going on now.
Oh, no, is that old? Oh, that's
sure.
old.
That's old, yeah.
That's old. Well, hopefully they're still chatty.
No,
Chatty.
You got 13 people in there.
Ah, well, that's pretty shitty. Normally I have like 18 or 20. But we have a couple people that hung out from Chuck's show into my crazy show. Just so you all know, hopefully you're still listening, I don't do JFK 2 hours. I have enough JFK, you know, with Chuck. So my show is just crazy, just so y'all know.
There's Hopper with the chirp.
Hopper's there, chirp, chirp. Hey, Hopper, happy birthday. I said happy birthday to you. I hope you're enjoying your tequila. Next weekend, just so you all know, is going to be a barbecue/vodka cranberry day, Saturday. So, I don't know what's going to happen. 10 o'clock Saturday night. Yikes!
I might have to call in for that one, too. Sounds fun.
There's Dylan.
Oh, there's Dylan. Hey, Dylan.
Sorry.
Oh, Daniel's there. Hey, Daniel, I was watching a show, and your town is on it. It was called In an Instant, and the cop, it was some show, and Warner Robins came up. I was like, holy shit, there's Daniel's town. But anyway, who else do we have hanging out? I think Hopper's going to call in. He has a story. I'm hoping Daniel calls in, because he's always hysterical. I have Carmine. I have Mr. Prince. I have Dylan. And who's that blocking? Is that Zachary and Trish?
Yeah, that's Zach and Trish on the same Skype line like we are right now. So.
Uh-oh, Hopper didn't celebrate his birthday. Oh, that's too bad. I'm sorry. So hopefully you guys who are hanging out from Chuck's show realize that I'm not a JFK person.
Yeah, well, that's okay. Daniel Lewis Crumpton, of course, if he comes on tonight, it would be rather hard to top the omelet incident, how to dispose of a body, Governor Deal, or the Ron Paul assassination appearances.
I'm not sure which is the funniest out of all of them, I got to tell you.
I nearly passed an egg roll when he talked about Yeah, when he talked about Ron Paul being assassinated to that caller.
We'll see how retarded I am. I believed him for a second because he was so serious. I'm like, wait a minute, is he serious?
Deadpan serious, too. Deadpan serious.
That poor bastard.
Is that Is that archive on the website? I have to look at that.
They've been made into YouTube videos. they're on the Zen After Dark, I think, YouTube channel. Well, I think it's the Zen in the Car YouTube channel, but it's like Zen After Dark, and it's just crazy stuff. And the one is me describing a call after the show. I'd love to hear the existing panel's feedback on this one because I don't think they heard that show.
Oh God! And then how to cook an omelet with an internet.
Oh, how to
cyber whore.
Cooking with internet whores. Yeah,
that's always fun.
Because that's a whole other subject. But the Ron Paul assassination.
I saw that one.
Which one? The cooking with internet whores?
Yeah, he posted that everywhere. He sent it in a private message to me.
Oh, yeah. If you go on the Ochelli Effect radio show page, Dylan, which I think you're on, that discussion group, you can find links to all those little clips. And
that was hysterical.
Fun. But the Ron Paul assassination actually happened off the air. We finished the show at midnight, right?
It's Midnight Zen, if anybody wants to look.
Midnight Zen, thank you. We continued on with the conversation after the show with Daniel, and we were just hanging out. So meanwhile, the UCY phone line is still directed to us. So a call comes in, and this guy, sounding very confused, says, gee, I was calling in to talk about Ron Paul. So I go to say something, and I'm giving you the short end of the story. The first time I told the story was hysterical. But so this guy says, he's calling for some other radio show, and I was about to tell him that, and Daniel goes, well, Ron Paul was just assassinated. And this guy who sounds like a young guy starts freaking out like, oh my God, really? And then Daniel pipes in, yeah, he was just killed outside of a Zaxby's.
With chicken fingers. He had chicken fingers anyway.
So then I hung up on the guy, and it was just funny to think about how this guy's freaking out thinking Ron Paul's been killed. So...
yeah.
But meanwhile, it was just like a joke off the air, but it was so funny. I had to tell the story the next week. And it was just hysterical. That gives you guys an idea of what kind of goes on this show.
He spells it the way you say it.
Oh. Because, listen, if you're from the East Coast, okay, and you got some kind of Sicilian or Italian blood in you, you might use the term hooer instead of...
But we went out in the Hussy Mobile today.
You know how it goes. I mean, it's a bukyak. It's a...
A what? A what? A bukyak?
Put the accent on it.
Yeah, please. Say that again.
Which one? The hooer?
No, I know that one.
You don't want to know what that means.
I'll find out off the air.
Yeah.
We went trolling.
Bhutan, bukyak. Yeah.
Oh, that's a bad word. You can't say that. Yes, you can.
Yes, I can. Who the hell else knows what I'm saying besides Carmine?
I do. I have an idea. Thank you. We went trolling around.
I have an idea also.
Trolling in our Hussy Mobile today. That was awesome.
Oh, that's right. The Hussy Mobile.
They don't know.
For new listeners of the show, the Hussy Mobile is a silver minivan.
Yes, because I'll just explain it real quick. I was at a stop sign. I had my window down, hanging out with my bad self, and this chick drives past me and called me a hussy. And I'm thinking to myself, you don't even know me. You can't call me that. So now it's a big joke that I'm the hussy in the silver minivan, Whatever.
And it happened twice.
It happened twice.
Wow.
I know.
That's not really common vernacular. I haven't heard people whipping hussy around in quite some time.
I'm telling you, it's stuck in, what is that, the 80s?
Yeah, maybe earlier.
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know.
I'm confused.
Welcome to the show.
The youngin is confused, therefore Jaded has started.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Mr. Prince seems very quiet. Uh-oh. What was that?
I don't know.
I'm hearing voices.
Hopper's going to call in with a story.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
So Barry, you got anything random you want to throw out there that kind of goes with this stream of insanity that we do on Saturday nights?
Well, I wouldn't mind sharing one little quick story. Is a lady friend of mine wanted to see this medical oil that's available to people that are dealing with cancer, and took her up a little bit, and before I knew it, she had consumed a little bit too much of it, and I kind of warned her. But that night, she couldn't get off her couch, and her husband came home, and her kids came home. She was just a babbling idiot, and the way she told it was pretty funny, guys. So I just thought I'd share that with you. I'm talking about hemp.
Did she have a bag
She
of
consumed-
Doritos in her lap?
No, what happened is she was going to try a little bit, but when the syringe squirted, it squirted a little bit too much, and before we could stop her, she already had it in her mouth. And then we told her, I said, look, you're about to go for a trip without leaving the farm. You better lay down on the couch for the rest of the night. Well, about a half hour later, the poor lady couldn't get off the couch. She just lunched. Her kids were coming home, and her husband came home. And quite a comical situation.
What's wrong with Mommy?
Why can't Mommy get off the couch, guys? You guys make your own dinner. I'm not moving. Can you bring me a sandwich, please?
Sounds like my
It was hilarious, man. Just hilarious.
sounds like my family on Thanksgiving.
Awesome.
That's what your Thanksgivings are like, Dylan?
Wow, we're coming to your house.
We need to talk to you more.
Yeah, we do.
It's probably a little crazier than that.
We're going back to wherever.
One of these days, I'll tell my Thanksgiving story.
Chuck, should I save my classroom stories for your show?
I think you should.
I can't use bad language. I have too many guests this evening.
Like that's gonna stop.
But probably not in the 11
You've
o'clock.
already done it twice.
Ew, there's a bug on the computer screen. Does anybody else have a problem with these things called a stink bug that if you squish it, it smells like a jujube?
No, but you guys want to hear something really weird?
Okay.
Really weird? Okay,
Yep.
no, this is the other day. This is what's today? Today is Saturday. Okay, it was Wednesday. My son, and Michael will tell you this, Charles, if you ask him, he was with me in the truck. We're driving down Main Street Terrace, or out the highway, just the main drag of Terrace, and two army trucks go by with these coffins on the back that I see on those videos down in the States. You know?
Well, wait a minute. The big gray.
The commas, the big coffins, they have these fields of FEMA coffins.
The big
like
gray
stacked.
boxes.
The big boxes that are made for 4 people. Well, 2 trucks of those went right through Terrace, British Columbia, on Wednesday. And I turned to Michael, and I said, you know what those are? And he said, well, yeah, aren't those coffins I saw on the internet? And I said, yeah. I said, what are you going through Terrace for? What's going on, guys? Anyways, I just thought I'd bring that up to you guys. It's kind of weird to see that up here in Terrace, but Alaska isn't far away, and this is transit route to Alaska. A lot of trucks come through here that are going to Alaska, so I didn't get a chance to see what was on the vehicles because they were going one way and I was going the other. I was just kind of focusing on what was on the back of them, and I was going, yeah, that sure looks like them. It looks exactly what I've seen in those videos down there, guys, the fields of them. So here in Terrace, British Columbia, that happened. I wanted to share that with you guys.
Wow.
Nice.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Oh, it's not. Too cold. What are they bringing them up here for? We don't need them.
One thing that got me real angry is this South Carolina shooting. I mean, they all have me mad, but I mean, how many feet was this guy away from that cop? And then, you know what? He turned around to look and see, ooh, did anybody see that? But he didn't give thought to the guy that was across the park with his cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? They ought to hang that son of a bitch from his toes and just whatever they could do.
If he's convicted of murder, then there will be a riot because that was blatant outright murder. I mean, everything I've seen about everyone I see now is all. I mean, how many people were killed in the States last month by gunfire? I mean, 1,400? What was it? No, 104 people were killed in the United States by gunfire last month in the United Kingdom in the last century. Almost the last. That's a fact.
Mm.
I almost lived there.
It's crazy. It's like, holy. Well, no wonder people are scared, hopeless of police. You know, they're ramping up this fear thing, man. It's unbelievable. Anyways, don't want to get into that rabbit hole.
I got you. Carmine being uncharacteristically quiet.
That's because he's in shock. So you didn't tell me your wife is a crazy bitch. Wait till the 11 o'clock hour. It's still early.
Oh, boy. Carmine, you with us?
Did he leave? Uh-oh.
I'm here. I just had the mic muted. I was moving around.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm waiting for our friend Mr. Hopper to call, too. It's his birthday. I think everybody in the chat room should say, happy birthday to Hopper.
Yeah, you're now up to 17. Downlick joined. 8 Hawks joined.
I had 18 a minute ago. Oh, now I'm down to
Cracker.
16.
Joe Friday.
Oh, who else is in there? Sorry, guys, I got to say hello to my people.
This is her romper room moment
My
where she
romper
holds up
room
the
moment.
mirror to her face. And, yeah,
I was on Romper Room.
I know.
Shh.
I want to find that episode. I want to see.
No, you don't. I had hair. My mother had my hair cut like Buster Brown.
She gave you that bowl cut.
She put a bowl on my head and cut it. She said she didn't, but I know she did because I was there. I remember. I know my grandfather took me to a barber. What the hell's wrong with you?
I'll trade moms with you.
No, I don't. Yeah. I don't know. That's a tough one.
Yeah, that's a tough one?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I think Daniel needs to call us, too.
Well, Daniel is probably getting his papers together. I don't know how he's going to top those other appearances, though. If he does, I will be so impressed. You have no idea.
Oh, another story. God, he is funny. He is funny. Well, that's one of the stories in the news that this week that really angered me.
Right.
I mean, they all do all these shootings, but that was just blatant murder. I don't even know how many feet that guy. What was he? At least 75 feet away from him.
I think he got probably 50 feet when the cops started shooting. Then he fired 8 times in a row. And then he goes over, picks up his taser, brings it over, drops it beside the kid, and handcuffs him. I mean, for Christ's sake, come on. You handcuff a dead body and then drop a taser beside him. And the guy, I mean, if they, like I said, if he doesn't get convicted on that, there's going to be hell to pay.
I wonder if that would carry up to us. South Carolina's a rock skip away from
that could possibly set things off nationwide if that guy walks away acquitted.
Yeah,
I would be worried about that.
Button. Yeah.
You're worried about that?
Yeah, I would be worried about that. Take a look. Michael Brown is a questionable situation. You had the kid shot with the toy gun, and you had the other one choked to death in New York. Now, that started a whole campaign, which has gone nationwide. I mean, I know the mainstream's not covering it heavily, but, the Black Lives Matter thing is nationwide at this point.
Right.
Now you have another black man being killed by another white police officer, and this one's blatant. I mean, not like the thing in New York City wasn't blatant enough, but, people would say, well, maybe he was menacing, maybe there was a danger, but this guy's running away.
He ran out of his car.
Yeah.
Well, the most blatant one of all of them was the Tamir Rice one, the 12-year-old.
Well, you know what? I don't know.
But they don't have visual evidence of that one.
They do.
Yeah, I think they do.
But not like this. Not where it's like
conclusive.
There was video.
No, I know, but it's the dash cam, right?
No, I think it was it might have been dash cam. I don't remember.
Well, see, you know what? Maybe I'm off on this. I mean, all these things blurring together, but this one is so damn ridiculous.
Yeah, this one's completely blatant.
Isn't it convenient, Charles, that this really fits in perfectly with the agenda that they're pushing right now? Just absolutely perfect. So who's to say this cop isn't put in there and he's got a deal going? Come on, guys. Okay, shoot him. So maybe you gotta remember that they're pushing the agenda everywhere. This could all be part of a setup to get these riots going. They want the American people to go to the streets because then martial law will be declared, and that's the end of it, guys. I kid you not, looking for war.
Well, then you also have the Kelly Thomas guy. Somebody brought that up in the chat room. I threw up in my mouth when I read that story.
Well, everybody forgot about that. He was viciously beaten to death.
And
that was horrifying.
I mean, that was just brutal, screaming for his father the whole time.
You know what?
Barry,
if I was standing there when that happened, Charles, I don't care. I would be jumping in, guys. America's going to have to start stepping in on this issue. They are. It's sad to say this, but they're pushing us towards. But that's what's happening. I mean, but we got to do it civilly. We got to do it legally. Go to war, avoid trouble.
Barry, the part I'm going to have to disagree with the comment you made earlier. I don't think they need to light the fire for this one. I think it's been. I'm sure they assisted in the beginning, but I think it's moving pretty much autonomously. I just think they're publicizing it more. Maybe. They don't need to put the cop in. I mean,
Well,
this
it's just a
stuff
thought,
is,
it would sure fit their agenda, though, wouldn't it? If you think about what they're exactly trying to do right now, it
but
would
there are a
fit.
lot of things that would fit their agenda.
Yeah, okay, but who's to say they're not using them all, Dylan? I mean, they use
No,
a
you're right.
toolbox.
Who's to say they're not?
Exactly. It's just a thought, buddy. I'm not saying they're not. I'm not saying they are, but it fits in
I
perfectly with
know.
what they would do.
I
May
know.
I?
I was just interjecting my thought
Yeah,
into it
so
as well.
sure. I'm not saying I'm right on it. It was just a thought that went through my head, but it all seems to fit perfectly in what I see them doing right now. So,
Yeah.
so
May I interject?
Yes,
Oh,
please.
please do.
Yeah.
Okay.
first, I'll tell Barry to shut.
I agree with some of the statements that were said earlier about the police and also that they want riots to happen. I do support that. I think that that does serve their agenda for the people to act violently and foolishly. So what I would suggest to anyone listening is don't.
Exactly.
Nonviolent protest will always be successful. It's when you get violent that they have the right to kill you.
Exactly.
All right, and I'm watching in the chat room as somebody is trying to claim that it's fake as usual. There is always somebody out there that is going to claim that everything has been faked.
Not everything is fake.
I'm
Why
sorry.
would they fake that?
Thank you, Dylan.
But why would they? But why would they fake that to incite a riot so they can?
Listen, I'm not saying that
more lethal force.
Listen, I'm not saying the government entities are anywhere beyond faking something, anything, an event, a scenario, a news story. It doesn't matter. That is a good possibility, but I'm not buying that this is a fake. I mean, how much blood do you expect to see in those 8 shots in that quick clip before the guy's body drops? I mean, come on.
And if it was a fake, officials would have come out immediately afterward, labeled it a hoax.
I would say I'm not meaning to fake the gun shooting itself was a hoax. What I'm saying is that my thought was that the cop was staged to do that. They're ramping up. Who's to say that behind the scenes there isn't a deal made with this officer and this was his role in part of an agenda to ramp up to the public to a point where they want to go on the streets and start rioting. And that's what they're pushing the American society towards right now. It's all I'm seeing. And it's just something I try and make people aware of, that if you go to that point right now, like I said, most people don't know even some of the wording in the executive orders that have been signed by President Obama in the last 5 years since he's been president. The 1,000 executive orders that he signed, some people don't even know the wording. But the power of these executive orders when martial law is declared, guys, is something that we have to stay away. We have to stay away from martial law. It has to be done legally. It has to be done in the court system. Lots of people are attacking the court systems right now. That's
Well,
the way
right.
to do it.
Let's not lay the whole thing on Obama either, because the executive orders that have
He's
been
just a
signed
puppet.
over the past, over the past 40 years, in the aggregate, if martial law was declared nationwide, I think people don't realize exactly what would go on. From the time Nixon was signing stuff onto Carter, onto Ford, onto Carter, onto Reagan, onto Bush, onto Clinton. These guys have been, continually and incrementally signing a lot of interesting executive orders that would have really wild effects on the public's life. If they were all enacted at once, which they can be if martial law is declared in the country.
Well, I think two of the major issues are it is the overreaching. I talk about this very little bit at the end because I kind of think that all of the assassinations, and I promise I won't go into them, but I think that JFK, MLK, and RFK were all a result of the overreaching of executive power. And all we see is it getting worse and worse with time as the executives continue to overreach beyond Congress by starting wars that they don't have the power to start.
I agree with that.
Well, exactly, and it was the decapitation of leaders that were not going along with the agenda. This is what, and it happens internationally. Good point. Also, Gaddafi was removed.
Saddam, Osama, we use them all. They're all our Frankensteins. We train them, we send them against their enemies, and then when they get done with them, they come back at us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
Although I haven't seen any Saddam was used and Osama was used. I don't know if Gaddafi was. I haven't looked into it.
Well, when Gaddafi made a deal with Obama, they gave him they took off some sanctions on Libya.
Gaddafi was not going along with the banking agenda there.
Exactly.
That was the big problem. And what happened was he was utilized as one of the attack dogs. I mean, look, a long time ago, we bombed the crap out of out of Libya because they were allegedly the big terrorist threat, and other things were done. The sanctions and all this stuff were done over time because they were supposedly the big terrorist threat. So they were erected first as an enemy and then given some leeway. And then, of course, when he bit the hand that fed him regarding the banking system, well, he had to go.
But isn't that what Putin's doing now?
Well, yeah, but see, Putin has a greater base of power than Gaddafi did.
If he went away mysteriously, that would look really suspicious.
Oh, if he took a bullet in the head, there would be no way that the rest of the world would not point the finger in our direction.
Absolutely. That's probably why we haven't done it yet.
And away the war goes.
How about a lone Ukrainian nationalist who has ties to the Communist Party? I'm just kidding.
You mean that happened to visit the United States for a couple of years and then return angry?
Yeah.
With an American wife?
He might have KGB ties, maybe. You never know.
We're Kim's
You're
looking at me
going
funny.
over my head, damn it.
We're reversing the Oswald fiction.
No.
Sorry, they're inside JFK jokes.
Just me, because I'm sitting here like, what? Well, I'm just going to throw my JFK thing out there, and I think Johnson had, what's his name? Am I right? Johnson. I think he had more to do with it. That's my opinion, and that's where I'm leaving it. How's that?
I would definitely agree on the cover-up. It was all about the cover-up.
I personally, I think he's a scumbag.
Yeah.
Provably a scumbag.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think he was a little bit more involved than some of you, not including, like some of you JFK people say.
Well, okay.
That's my opinion.
Well, let me run this by you.
Oh, no.
No, this isn't.
I started.
You shouldn't have brought it up.
Started it.
She did it anyway, against her own will.
Did it.
Okay, now. Here's the thing, though, hon. Are you trying to tell me that he actually was involved in the planning of the assassination?
No, but I think he knew it was happening.
I have no disagreement with you. I do think he knew it was going to happen.
I don't disagree either. It's possible.
I do think the CIA did it. I don't think Oswald did it. I think he was,
You can't live in the same house with me without thinking Oswald didn't do it.
Yes, absolutely I can. Absolutely I can. I have my opinion.
Kim, I don't know if you could. I've seen that he's obsessed.
Tell me.
I haven't. Start finding copies of the Warren Commission report laying around.
Do you know how many times I've watched the live coverage of the assassination? Oh my God, I could probably play it for you in my own brain and repeat it.
More times than it was broadcast or uploaded.
I'm not even kidding. But that's
every conversation I have with Chuck, he brings it up somehow.
Somehow, some way. But I think Johnson knew what was going to happen that night. That day. He knew about it. I'm sure he did.
No, I'm very sure a tap on the shoulder was given to the man to say, look, be ready, because we got some things that you need to get done that this man ain't getting done, and he's going to be out of the way.
With Vietnam.
Sort of if it might happen, you never know what could happen type situation, I would imagine. They wouldn't tip him off, I don't think, directly. And honestly, it could have been the person that I see. The reason why I don't think Johnson knew is not only because of what Zach said last week when he talked about him crying in the bathroom on Air Force One.
I think that's bullshit.
Well, see, here's the thing, though. Johnson, because there was a miss, there could be a hit, which means Johnson could have been hit.
That's why he was crying. He wasn't crying because poor Kennedy.
Well, true, but that also infers that he didn't think that it was going to happen. Because if he thought he could be hit.
Well, see, the thing is, I think he thought it was going to happen, but I didn't think he thought it was going to happen right on top of him.
Yeah, and when it would implicate the hell out of him for basically doing nothing provable. You know, I mean, we got all these people who want to blame him, but Texas doesn't help. It hurts him. You don't do it where you're from. You don't do it at the center of your power.
No.
When did the Gulf of Tonkin incident happen, guys? What was the date of that?
64, I think. I think
but it never happened.
Later in the year.
No, but what the alleged Gulf of Tonkin incident happened in 64, correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's when the mass really ramping up of America happened in Vietnam, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's when they re-kicked in. Something that people don't often mention.
So how many months after Kennedy's assassination was that? He was in November '63. So
hold on, I'll check.
Gulf of Tonkin. About 4 months afterwards, correct?
Let me check.
Fucking war we don't belong in.
Gulf of Tonkin was August 2nd, so
not even a year.
So
10 months. 10 months.
8 months. Yeah, 10 months. Okay. Well, that's what brought America into the Vietnam War. Who was the president then? I mean, you don't think Johnson knew about this? I think there's too many ties to Johnson to say that he didn't know about it and he wasn't part of the plan. I mean, I believe. Well, there's lots of controversy about Kennedy, but I think the main reason he was assassinated because he wasn't going to go along with the Vietnam War.
Well, the thing is, I'm sorry.
One of my thoughts. Go ahead.
I was going to say, the reason I have a problem with that is because, first of all, Johnson, he didn't have the power base to pull it off. He didn't have control of the CIA. He didn't have control of the FBI. As vice president, he was already under investigation, as Chuck has said before. So he had a lot of strikes going against him. I think a lot of these people wouldn't have risked everything for something that could go, and feasibly did go, awry.
Right, but at the same time, he was extremely useful to those that had interests in pushing the war agenda, to those that were disappointed that we didn't invade Cuba, to those that were disappointed to those that were disappointed with the fact that we didn't go into Laos, for those that were disappointed with, on and on and on. He was extremely useful and also easy to manipulate, considering the fact that all they had to do was let the official investigations eat him alive.
Well, yeah, I totally agree with that. I just think that he was a puppet. He wasn't in any way controlling anything, and I don't think he had any knowledge. I think he knew it could happen, but he didn't know it was going to happen where it would totally look like it implicated him.
No, and again, I point to the conversation. I mean, Zach's point is well taken about, him crying on the plane, but let's just say you discount that. Let's just take a listen to his own tapes in the LBJ library.
But what did Hoover have on him, though, too?
Well, see, that's the thing. I think it's Hoover. Hoover is the man who tanked everything. Now, I don't necessarily think that means Hoover was part of the assassination, but he didn't want anyone coming near COINTELPRO.
Right.
Because if they would have got into that, they would have seen every illegal thing he did since the 30s.
Which also could have led him directly to the fact that Oswald was very possibly an FBI informant.
Or a CIA informant.
Or both.
Yeah,
so this was the big problem. And, of course, that conversation, which you can get from the LBJ library if you try hard enough, between him and Hoover discussing what happened and him asking Hoover if he thought any of the shots were intended for him.
Oh,
well,
really?
Which he did not make that recording with any sort of possibility in his mind that it would ever be broadcast to the American people or anyone else in the world.
Yeah, it was the same system that nailed Nixon on Watergate.
Right. Exactly.
Well, what do you all think is going to be the next big event that is, a psychological attack on the people?
Oh, that's a loaded question. I think it's going to be 2 or 3 things at once, myself.
In the United States or in different?
In the United States, but I think it's going to be a combination of 2 or 3 things that would totally turn society upside down in 48 hours. They can do it.
Well, see, we already have part of the groundwork set, because we now have a completely confusing war scenario in the Middle East where former allies are now enemies. Former enemies are now working with them.
Exactly.
And current enemies are working with.
Yeah,
who's our enemy this week?
Which is exactly what happened. If you take a look at, again, the coverage of the Vietnam War on television in the United States, you couldn't tell who was attacking who, for what purpose, what territory it was in. There was no sense to that map regarding the North and the South. We have that condition already in place. Okay,
well, we need to get to Montana quick. Because I don't be here when holy hell breaks loose. I'll tell you what.
To be honest, I know it sounds strange, but I was going to say, to be honest, I know it sounds strange, but shoot for Michigan or Canada. That's where all the fresh water is.
Yeah, out my backyard. I'm lucky.
Chuck, you mentioned on a bunch of other shows I've been on with you that when it hits Africa, that's when you think the third World War will start?
I believe that that's the key theater. Yeah, I think that's
y-
exactly where it's going to be. Still,
you just
I think it's going to be the Mideast myself, Charles.
2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I think the fire was somewhat lit, or at least started to be lit. Boko Haram and ISIS, two possible CIA operations, joint
Right.
forces.
Here's the thing: Boko Haram is your incendiary device, which is going to start that. They're exactly related to a war we're already involved in. They're related directly to the war on terror. They are, the Muslim extremists who happen to be in Africa. They're slaughtering, they're murdering, et cetera, et cetera.
And they just joined ISIS.
And they've joined ISIS. Very good.
Well, Cracker's in there saying, and I think Mr. Prince said this last time he was on one of my shows, that the Boston bombing was a way to see how easily people would allow cops to just come in and out of their homes.
I agree with that person, because anyone that was paying attention, Boston was a practice run.
Yeah.
Totally.
And everybody rolled over. Nobody complained.
Right.
I had somebody.
They were cheering when the cops and the military was pulling out. The people were lining the streets cheering them.
We have always been at war with Far East Asia.
I'm sorry, that's bullshit. I'm not letting a cop in my house. There's nobody in my house but the 3 people that are in my house and my 2 dogs. You have no reason to come in here and look for somebody.
Well, yeah, people need to realize their rights. I mean, I might not agree with you guys on all these issues, but I agree that people need to be aware of their rights, and they need to be able to stand up for themselves, because they will walk all over you if you let them.
Well, they fear-mongered again. Oh my God, these 2 guys are out there bombing people who are running in a marathon. Oh my God, we can't find them. So they instilled the fear, and everybody they don't think for themselves, and they're saying, holy shit, oh my God, yes, please come in. Fuck that.
That was just a little pinprick, guys. Imagine what would happen if a small suitcase nuclear bomb went off in a city, say, of 300,000 people in the United States of America, and the emergency broadcast system came up and said, look at, there's more of these running around the states. We've been invaded, blah, blah, blah. The mainstream will pump it up. All of a sudden, everybody's
their doors will be open.
Into a state of fear. You know what that does? Instantly, their brains become scrambled.
Right.
They cannot think properly. And that's what they'll prey on.
And that's exactly why the modern test case for civil unrest is Ferguson, Missouri. Because what went on there shows you exactly what the response would be like, and et cetera, et cetera. It was a test case. It wasn't necessarily a full-blown move, but there you go. They could figure out what happened when the community came into an uprising situation where you had, discernible individuals involved in things, and there was all kinds of games being played there.
Mm-hmm.
Can I bring up one?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
In August, the Pope is coming to New York.
Oh God!
Does that seem like a prime target?
No, that'll just crush traffic.
But it would prop up this idea that the Muslim extremists are waging war on all the other religions. It would bring up that. It would pull in the other nations who are hesitant.
Well, see, that's an interesting idea because of all these recently radicalized Westerners who are being arrested all over the United States now. There's been, 8 of them in the past, or 10?
3 months.
10 of them in 8 weeks, I think?
Yeah.
When you look at it, though, I mean, based on numbers, there's a lot of them, but in comparison, we got a pretty good average. We got 300 million people.
No, it's a good average, but here's the point, is that they've already laid the groundwork that these people have infiltrated back into our country. If one of them does decide to do something like attack the Pope, I mean, that's clear-cut evidence for a lot of people in this country that Christianity in general would be under attack, which is part of...
And there would be 60% of the nation demanding a full-on invasion.
Like the Gulf of Tonkin.
Instantly.
Mm-hmm.
Like Pearl Harbor.
Beware.
Yep. There would not even be a debate. It would just happen. We would invade the next month.
But realistically, there hasn't been a debate about half of our military adventures in the past 20 years, has there? Not even.
No, after the fact, there has been.
Very little, though. Tell me who's really objected to Afghanistan outside of some veterans and some families of those veterans. That was one of those things that the American people embraced. It was, perfectly justifiable.
Because it was a psychological attack.
Well,
Right,
and
and this would be the biggest psychological attack they could ever, probably ever concoct.
They pulled it off beautifully.
no, they definitely did, and of course,
I was shit scared. I had bombers flying over my house.
guy, hey, listen, and it also doesn't hurt that. Does not hurt that it's a great place to grow poppy plants. So
And guard them. Make sure the troops guard those things.
oh yeah, that too.
Right.
So, what do you
Don't want
think
anything
of
happen
that
to 'em.
idea? So, what do you guys think of that idea?
I think you're onto something, sir. I really do.
You're a smart kid, Dylan.
Yeah, let's just hope they aren't as smart as you are.
Yeah, right? I want to tell Hopper to call in and just mute up, and I'll play your link that you put in the Skype, and then when it's over,
No, we can't play a song. Remember,
No, he
it'll
wrote
boot
it.
us. But
It's his own song.
it's his song.
Yes,
Oh,
he did it.
because if it's anything with a copyright on it, it gets booted off of YouTube. You know what they did to me when I played myself playing a Black Sabbath song?
On my show,
On
not
your
your
show.
show. My show.
I know it's your show.
Jaded, not the Ochelli effect. Let's clear that up right now.
Wow,
Yeah.
Chuck, I've never seen you pushed back.
Sounds like it's about time for my disclaimer.
Oh
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
you forgot that.
Yes, I did. Chuck Ochelli and the Ochelli Effect is in no way responsible for the material, the discussion, or the guests which do appear on the Jaded Roundtable radio show. All of these things are under the control of Kim Ochelli and therefore not to be blamed on Chuck. Please direct your hate mail or questions or bomb threats to Kim on Facebook or the Jaded webpage. Thank
I
you
have
very
not
much.
gotten any hate mail. They like me.
They
Because
like-
I say Johnson well, apparently.
And they like you better than me. I know.
Johnson. Anyway, go ahead. Play his song. Sorry, guys.
Oh, boy. Now I got, you put the pressure on me. I'm not ready.
Oh, my God. I caught you off guard. That's not possible.
I'm gonna have to come here more
Oh,
often.
wait a
This is
minute.
fun.
Hopper, what song is it, real quick? Type me in there so I know. If it's like a Van Halen or Alice in Chains or something, I can't play that. Because then they won't show my YouTube. Who's that? Is that a band? Is that a real band? How do you pronounce that? Exeltons? Is that real? Are they real people?
I think it is.
Uh-oh. If it is, I can't play it. Well, what happens? They just knock my video off YouTube?
Yeah,
But then Jules gets mad at me.
you get no
If you're gonna
video.
get the video knocked off YouTube, you might want to do a better song.
Oh.
Daniel never has a problem. How come we have problems?
Because Daniel doesn't play copyrighted material.
Oh, thought he did.
No.
Oh, what the hell do I know? All right, well, we'll play it. But Hopper, you got to call in because when it's over, I'm going to pull you in so we can hear your. I think it's some kind of fire story or something.
Well, I'm trying to load this thing. You see, I'm trying to load
I
it.
see.
Okay.
Good grief.
Well, I hope they're not thinking the way I'm thinking, because if they are, we'll be in the middle. We'll be full invading on Syria and Africa by the end of the year.
Well, that's the ridiculous thing, is that they keep trying to target countries. This isn't a country. It's a movement. You know what I mean? It's a religious fanatical movement across the world. So
Well, and
We
bombing
don't
it
know.
doesn't help.
Yeah,
When
we're
you
just-
do a counterinsurgency, you don't bomb them because that draws support. You have to send in special ops to take out the key heads of the insurgency, and that'll get rid of any strategic stuff they can do. But
another thing.
bombing them gives them more people.
Yeah, another thing that you guys mentioned earlier that kind of has always annoyed me about people is when they say that in Boston, weapons of mass destruction. Those weren't weapons of mass destruction. Those were small
Those were-
bombs.
Yeah,
You know, a nuclear bomb is a
homemade.
weapon of mass destruction.
sarin gas, depleted uranium, but we won't talk about those.
There's Hopper. All right, I'm going to play Hopper's song. I think it's a.
I just lost it.
Oh, no.
I was trying to tell you no, but okay, sorry.
Just say no. Just say no.
All right, Nancy.
No. Hey. Oh, my God. Watch your mouth.
Hopper.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy-
Thank you.
You're welcome. We're trying to play this song for you,
Yeah.
but it keeps going away.
I can't imagine there being any copyright issues with it. They're not a very well-known band.
You would think not,
And it is written about me.
Well, if they've ever copywritten their song, see, that's the thing. And plus,
Yeah,
YouTube's
if
giving me
there's
crap.
any copyright,
Perks.
if the band's done any copyright, you'll have an issue, even if it's not a song they've copywritten.
Oh, for crying out loud. That's
Yeah.
just ridiculous.
Well, as soon as something's created, I know this because I had to do it for the book. As soon as it's created, it's copyrighted by law because of conventions. So,
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, but then YouTube has an additional policy on copyrights, which causes problems for the later show. Retarded or not? It
Can you
is.
look on the video and see if if it says it's copyrighted? I already deleted it. When you look.
I had issues with copyright for stuff. I remember somebody on there, his face was copyrighted. They took his video off, and it was just him talking into a mic.
Oh, boy. Oh, is it playing now? No, it's still spinning. Oh, what the
What
hell?
if I accidentally played it over my microphone?
They'll
would
still whack the video.
That's all right. Here it goes.
Investigation.
No, it's not playing. They can't hear it.
Oh, they can't hear it?
No, I'm trying to get it to run here, but they can't hear it right now.
So they can't hear that?
No,
Barely.
they can hear it coming out of our headphones a little. That's it.
Oh.
But we
Well,
don't.
that sucks.
Look, I'm telling you, just
What the hell's going on? Oh, my
Huh?
God.
listen. Enough with the confusion. Just go back to the show. Sorry, we're just gonna leave that alone.
It's not
Okay.
working. Oh, Hopper, I'm sorry. But I still want to hear your story.
Right. Okay. So here we go. It was what was 2003? 2003, late August. Okay. Now, 7 miles. All right. First of all, this place is 12 miles from the Canadian border and 4 miles from Glacier Park.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So it's up in the northwest corner of Montana. And
Okay.
It's a place called Pole Bridge.
Okay.
It's 45 miles up a dirt road. And you're about 30 miles from power.
Oh, wow. All right.
It's way out in the sticks, way out there. Okay, so late August, we get a lightning strike. That was 7 miles from the place, from the property. Okay, keep that in mind, 7 miles.
Okay.
All right, so we wake up and we see a plume of smoke. And my father-in-law, who owned the property, and a few of the other people around were thinking, hey, we're seeing a lightning strike up here. Let's make sure that they get on it. And so, 2 days goes by. And we go up to the access road, and they got it ditched, because all Forest Service roads around here got ditched a couple years ago when Clinton was doing all his funny business.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so everybody's scratching their head going, well, why ain't we pushing this ditch in so your trucks can get back there and work on this fire? Oh, well, we're waiting on a truck coming up. It has to, go through all the scales and blah, 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 to bring a piece of equipment in. All right, we're about a mile from it. My father-in-law, he wants to just ride over in his cat and doze it over, and they can drive their trucks in there and get to work. So they drop a hotshot crew on it, that day. And for the rest of the day, they're saying they're getting after it. Next morning it comes out, so we're on day 3. So the next morning it comes out that they got chased out of there right after they landed. Their gear got scattered, everything was a mess, things are all fucked up.
All right.
So the dozer still hasn't showed up to doing the Kelly hump. All right, now, so we're on day 3. Now everybody in the community is starting to get nervous because this fire's gone from just this one little ravine to maybe a square mile. Roughly. Okay? It's late August, everything's dry, you're not expecting any rain, only dry lightning. They finally get the truck up with the dozer on day 4.
Wow.
And they send in a couple, like a tanker truck and 2, crew trucks. They come out of there the same day as well. Just totally overwhelmed. They don't know what the hell they're doing. Okay, so now we're looking at the morning of day 5. They started trucking in actual firefighters and bringing in equipment and starting to, lay out sentry stations and stuff like that. They shut down the roads, and we're advising people to start evacuating.
Okay.
And then on day 5 and day 6, they were sending around these little like cleanup crews, to help you get stuff loaded or to maybe move things to a more secure area or, whatever the case is. Well, about day 5, my father-in-law, he's a fucking nutcase. That's what he is. Okay, he's a total fucking nutcase. He walked off of Wall Street as a brokerage investor in, when was it? 89, sold his boat and his big house and all his shit, jumped in an RV in the middle of February and moved up to this desolate fucking wasteland they call Polbridge.
Okay.
All right. So, and raised 6 daughters up there the whole time.
Wow.
All right. So, he gets on this old dilapidated tobacco he's got. And, no. First he started dozing some pits. And we started putting some stuff in it, and we kind of was covering it up, burying some stuff. And moving a few things around on the property to try and minimize the damage if the fire made it that far. Still at this point we didn't know if it was or not. And then we got the old backhoe fired up, which you pretty much had to put a cork in everything but the one thing you wanted to run. And it ran on 3 out of 6 cylinders, probably 2 flat tires, and just barely ran it all. Okay, so he starts digging this hole. And it's like 5 foot by 5 foot by 5 foot. Okay? And in that song, if anybody played it, I posted it in the chat room. In about 2-minute mark, they talk about we run for cover to this 6-foot hole in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, so we're digging this hole. And my mother-in-law, my wife, they're kind of starting to scratch their heads, going, "Hey, Rick, what's going on here? What do you think you're doing? We should be loading stuff and getting out of here." And Rick just kind of looks over at everybody and says, "I ain't going anywhere. I ain't leaving. I haven't left in, 15 years. I ain't leaving now." And so we start gathering stuff to hold water in. Now, imagine anything you can put water in.
Right.
Like old refrigerators, old washing machines, freezers, kiddie pools, barrels, buckets. We lined the back of a truck with plastic and was pumping water into that. It was on blocks. The fucking thing didn't even run, for crying out loud. And he's digging this hole, and when he's digging it, it's like you got to rev up the motor, plunge the bucket in there, rev it back up, and pull it out and dump it. Okay, it's really bad. So day 6, they're going around and they're, setting up sprinklers at different houses. These are real remote off-grid homes. Some of them are pretty nice, some of them not so much. And we're asking them, "Hey, can we get some, they're called piss pumps. They're little backpacks. I don't know if you've ever seen firefighters use them. They got backpacks and they pump the hell out of them and they spray water.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're asking them for that, and we're asking them for some of the fire-resistant retardant clothes. And, they're like, yeah, but you guys should be looking at evacuating. And Rick's still telling everybody he's not going anywhere. Now it's day 7. And
damn.
my wife and my mother-in-law, first thing in the morning, I'll take off to the town to get gas. Rick wants gas, and he wants this and that. He's got a list of stuff that he wants. This is, 45 miles away down a dirt road. At that point, we decided, I decided that if Rick wasn't leaving, well, then I'm probably not leaving, because otherwise he'll probably die. This crazy old man out in the middle of nowhere burning up. So we made the determination that we're staying. Well, at about 11 o'clock, when the day started warming up, they shut down all the roads for good. Like, nope, nobody's coming in, only evacuees coming out. And we go up to the lake, which was about a mile away, and the fire had breasted the lake, which made where it was 6 miles from the original spot that it struck at, because it was 7 miles away. All right, so we're sitting there at the lake, and we're watching it flame up on the other side of the lake, and all the trucks start leaving. Everybody in a truck with a siren and lights, they're all getting out of there. So we head back to the place, which is a mile away. We get there, and this guy comes up in this truck and asks to take the dogs. And Rick's like, nope, you better get out of here. You're going to have to stay with us over there. And he points to this shovel we got in the ground with a handkerchief flag on it, where we had this bunker dug that we covered up with ladders as trusses and a metal roof and about 2 inches of dirt and just a hole on one side to go down into. Well, the guy takes off, and after that we didn't see anybody again for about 6 or 7 hours. Well, about 20 minutes after he left, we're pushing down the edge of the tree line with the dozer, and it breaks a clutch, so it dies right on the tree line. At this point you can see through the trees where it's starting to catch fire, and the wall is kind of moving towards us. You can hear it out there. It's kind of going nuts. And we grab water and kind of douse the dozer with it and then take off. And we stand in there at the edge of this bunker, which is about 150 feet from the tree line. We're standing there. We got our feet down in the doorway, and we're looking back at the wall of fire. I ain't kidding you. It had to be at least 150 to 200 feet tall.
Oh, my God.
And it was as far in either direction as we could see, period. And at the time, we didn't realize it, but it was about 2 miles wide at that point. And it felt like we had just opened a wood stove, and our face was probably a foot away from the door.
Wow.
So the radiant heat was traveling 150, 180 feet to where we were standing. So we go in the hole. We're in there probably 10 minutes. We hear an explosion. And then about 4 or 5 seconds later, a barrel lands about 10, 15 feet from the door of our bunker. We stay in there for about another 8 or 9 minutes, almost 10 minutes, and we come out, and I run around the side of the house, because this bunker's off to the side of the house, and I'm spraying down our battery bank. It's all off-grid, right? You got this battery bank on one side of the house. Well, Rick, he takes off through the smoke, and he goes and throws a couple more buckets of water on the dozer, which is on fire at this point. After about maybe 2 minutes of running around out there, we both meet up again and decide we got to get back in the hole because everything is just way too thick. Now, in the hole, we had taken our oxygen off the cutting torches and put it down in there so we could go back and like huff on it every now and again.
Mm-hmm.
We knew it was just going to be, everything was going to be inundated with smoke and whatnot. So we go down there and we huff on some oxygen for about another, 5, 8 minutes or so, and we come out and we just go nuts. We're fighting fire. I've got my 1-ton truck with a 300-gallon tank on it and a pump, and we're going all over the property, spraying different things down. We had one motorhome burn up during the main flash, a cabin and a old dilapidated trailer house. Those had burned up. Most of the trees on the property had already flashed. We're going around putting out spot fires next to the house. We look over at the main house, and there's smoke rolling out of the attic.
Oh, no.
So I back the truck up to the porch, and my father-in-law crashes a hole through the attic, the side of the attic, and climbs up in there and disappears with a hose. Meanwhile, smoke's all pouring out of it and shit. Well, he's in there for about, I don't know, it seemed like a while, but it couldn't have been too long. I'm unloading stuff off the porch and putting it in the back of the truck in case the house actually starts going up. Well, he comes out of there and says the fire's out, there's just steam in there. Well, what had happened is something had blown under the ridge cap of the roof and started the tar paper on fire.
Mm-hmm.
And, okay, so he climbs down out of there. Well, my truck is about empty at this point. I've used it up. We still got some water in some of the containers that we had outside. So I take off to the lake. And I'm driving over like 8-10-inch trees that are falling over the road. They're on fire. And I get up there, like I said, it was about a mile away. I get up there, and I ain't kidding you. The dock that the pump was on, the Forest Service water pump, burned up. The pump was in the water. It was done. So I drive back down to the creek where there was another one supposed to be at. I get there, and that one's just seized up. It had just run itself to death. You know, because they had left all this shit behind. You know, they just ran away from it. So we go back to the place, or I go back to the place, and we continue this battle with dirt and what water we had left for about 3 or 4 more hours. And at that point, we start seeing a break in things. It lightened up. We could actually see the sky sometimes, because the sky had completely disappeared. There was nothing left up there. We could hear the Boré planes. I could feel the exhaust coming off the fucking engines of the Boré planes, spraying their retardant. We lost radio contact at about 2 hours into the whole episode. So at the fire meeting, they were gracious enough to inform our wives that we had died, that we did not make it through the flash.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, at about 6:30, 7 o'clock, they pull up in this Forest Service truck. And they're just looking at us. They're just completely fucking dumbfounded. And we're walking up to them, you know, and we're kind of grinning. Hey, good to see you. Oh, man, right on. You guys bring any medical oxygen? Things are kind of rough here, man. Rawr, rawr, rawr. We could use some water. Can you get us a pump down at the lake? And they're not even talking. When I get over to the truck, the only thing in the back of the truck is shovels, water extinguishers, and body bags.
Oh, that's bad.
They were the cleanup crew.
Oh.
Yeah. So, after talking with them for a little bit, and they're like, well, nobody was sure you made it. It's still out to, nobody thinks you made it. Well, the thing is the sheriff come down, and when he was coming down the road after evacuating his people out, the back of his car actually started to catch on fire. And when he came down and told the guy that was in charge of the fire, he had told him that anybody back there behind him was dead if they were there at all. And they interpret that as being he perhaps knew we were dead. And that's what they had told the wives at the fire meeting. They had pulled them off to the side and says, it doesn't look like your husband's made it. We're going to be up there and we'll let you know more.
Oh, that's terrible.
Well, an hour had passed from the time those guys showed up at 6:30, 7 o'clock to the time that we had enough stuff put out around the place that we decided we were going to drive down the mountain, down to where my stepson's grandpa's property was. About 12 miles away? Yeah, 12 miles away. Well, we get there, and we walk through the door, and they hadn't told the girls that we weren't dead yet. So we come walking through the door like a couple of ghosts. It was quite an ordeal for a few minutes there.
Yeah, I would think so.
You know?
Well, that's bad. That's bad.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
I wouldn't be happy. Well, I mean, I would be happy if you came home, but I wouldn't be happy that I sat there devastated that you're gone, and then, holy shit, there you are standing in front of me. It'd be like, what the fuck just happened?
Right.
Yikes. Was that DJ?
Yeah, that was DJ.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I feel her pain.
It was something else.
Yeah.
Stuff that's up towards the top of the list.
I would think so.
Always fun to get reported as dead when you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the second time.
It's happened to me a couple times too.
I haven't had that pleasure. I'm
We
always
found a guy that got run over by a truck real bad where I was living, and he had the same kind of shoes as I did and long hair. And for about a day and a half, my girlfriend, who was one of the EMTs that responded, swore up and down it was me.
Ooh,
Nice.
that's bad.
When I was 21, right?
Oh, I remember this.
When I was 21, I had a cousin who, I don't know if you know this about a lot of Italians, but a lot of times they don't go by their legal name. So
Right.
I have sort of an unusual last name, right? So they publish in the local papers the obituary of my cousin. Okay? That's what happened. And he's got the same last name as me, and in the state of New Jersey, not too many people knew, any other Ochellis, just me. So, my phone starts ringing off the hook like at 8 in the morning, with people trying to find out when and how I exactly died.
And they're going to ask you?
Well, at first it was answering machines, and I lived with a girl, so she kept getting these weird phone calls.
Gotcha.
And I was out for the night because I was a musician, so I didn't get back into New Jersey until early morning hours, and didn't get back home until maybe like 10 in the morning. But 8 in the morning, the phone calls started coming about, we read that he's dead in the paper because he was the same age as me and had the last name. So that goes on for a little while, and all these phone calls, like all day long, the phone kept ringing.
Hey, Kim,
Hey, what?
can I have his watch?
Sure. I'll be sure to bring it.
I had a pocket watch at one time.
That's because you're cool like that.
They
Not
were
really.
just calling to get your stuff, Chuck.
Yeah, more your stuff.
That's what I think was
That's all
partially.
they wanted.
Yeah.
Isn't that some fucked up shit, though?
Oh, yeah.
What can I get?
What can I have?
What's got in there? What's in that
I gotta have
box?
something to remember and buy.
Woohoo. No, you don't.
Uh-huh.
Actually, it's funny you say that.
Grab
'Cause
a shovel, buddy. Help dig.
right. One of the calls was actually to see if they could get my PA system.
Yeah, go figure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just.
Because I was a singer, so I had my own
I'm
little.
sure I had buddies wondering who was going to go check my crop.
Oh yeah, or
Oh, wow.
the other one was the guitars. What are you going to do with his guitars?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I had a few then. Yeah.
I was never reported dead.
Yeah, I was reported dead more than once.
I was almost killed. I told you about that story.
So, Kim, what'd you think of that little Harley rocker?
I think it's awesome. He's
Isn't
gonna.
it, though?
He's got a T-shirt that I bought. Well, it's a onesie that says something. It's got a Harley on it. Something
Yeah?
Harley Davidson. I can't remember what the saying is. Born to
He's got a
ride, or
biker
something like that. Yeah. He's a piece of work. That little boy of ours. I tell you
Right
what.
on.
I
we
like.
just sent our youngest off grid for a couple days. He took off with a friend of ours that is up there in the sticks of northwestern Montana.
Uh-huh.
He was going to help plant the greenhouse, and what the hell else was he doing? There was something else. Oh yeah, they got some benches to carve. I guess he got a carving account with this rich guy.
He makes things out of wood.
My buddy does. Yeah, he carves, does those bears and beavers,
Oh.
benches and signs and stuff like that. Chainsaw carving.
Well, when we find our own place out that way, I'm gonna have to get one. I love those.
Oh yeah.
Those are awesome.
Yeah, but yeah, Merle went up there, and he's hanging out with him for a couple days and helping him out.
How old is he?
Merle's 12.
Is he scared?
No,
Well,
no,
that's
he ain't. That kid ain't scared of much.
that's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Francis has many girlfriends, and he's only 9 months old.
Nice.
Yeah.
I-
Everywhere we take him.
They just love him everywhere because he's got these big blue eyes. That's what
Of
it is.
course.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
blonde hair. He is a cute little shit.
Hey, I trolled my cousin once.
You what?
Trolled my cousin.
How'd you do that?
Went visiting for Christmas and said, "Hey, I'll take my cousin here to the park."
Wow.
You betcha. I was 19. Why not?
Why not? What the hell?
He was a cute little shit. Like, come with me, kid. We're going to the park.
Well, I tell you what, when Chuck's with him, a lot of ladies like to stop and talk to him. It's like, wait a minute, Mama's gonna have to start going for walks with you, because little boy, puppy, man, kind of the same thing. Women kind of gravitate towards men with babies or puppies.
Yep, I do.
Yeah, but I got a suspicious mind. So it's not like I would ever really engage any of that stuff,
Damn
even for
Skippy.
a moment.
No need.
Even if you weren't waiting at home, I'd be like, you just like the baby.
Oh,
bitch.
please.
That's what I would think.
It's a bad.
Hey, who are you fooling, lady?
That's right.
You know, come on.
Yeah.
That's what you're. Oh, you see a loving, caring man. Okay, good.
Yeah. I want a girl that likes me for my car, not my kid.
Oh,
Hmm. Hmm.
I did have a nice truck when we got together, didn't I?
Now you have you have a motorcycle, right? Yeah, I saw
Oh,
that
yeah.
picture. Very nice.
Yep. Took it out yesterday.
What's the weather like there?
Today it's crappy.
Hmm.
You know,
It's hot
tomorrow,
here.
who knows?
It's hot here.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
It's warm here. I mean, it almost touches 100 sometimes.
Oh shit.
You know, almost.
All right.
But the nights cool down fast. You know.
I'll have to get one of those fire pit things. Those are fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Where are you going to put it?
I don't know.
Next to my fire pit?
Sure. Hey, 2 fire pits are better than one, right?
I might actually have 2 now. That I
Bigger
think
the
about
fire, the better the party.
it. Yeah.
But next weekend's going to be a party Saturday because I have to tell the lady oh, there's a funny thing my neighbor said to me. He was in the hospital. He's 87 and kind of has
Right.
a little bit of dementia. So he's home, and a few days later, he's telling me about his hospital stay. And he says he's like, the old school where women are nurses and men aren't. So
Right.
he had a male nurse, and he's telling me this story in his southern accent, and I can kind of pick up what he's saying because I still don't understand everything they say here. And he said to me, that guy had as much business being a nurse as I have being an airplane pilot. It just cracked me up out loud. I thought it was funny as hell. But I need to tell his daughter that next Saturday night I can't take care of him for Sunday morning because I plan on having a barbecue and vodka and cranberry.
Ah.
Yeah, so there will be no feeding at 6 a.m. Oh, no. That will not be happening. You'd be lucky if I crawl out of bed by 1 o'clock.
yeah. Well, we'll see if the money is available to
It
do
will
so.
be because I'm going to do
You can't put him on a timer?
Put who on a timer?
His feeding.
No, I have to physically do it.
Oh,
Damn.
we're not talking about Frankie.
Not
in case
Frankie,
you're wondering.
my neighbor. I go over
Wait,
there.
I know.
Oh, okay, I go over there at 6, 12, 5, and 8
Uh-huh.
all the time. But, I just thought that was funny the way he said it. I have much, and you can picture this 87-year-old man being an airplane pilot. I was like, oh, that's funny. That's some funny shit right there.
Oh, anybody else that wants to call in, by the way, because we lost all the rest of the panel during Hopper's story.
They were busy.
Okay.
They didn't. I don't even think they really wanted to be on my show anyway because it's not the.
They bailed?
Well, no,
all good.
Carmen was sticking around, and
Yeah.
Barry didn't have anything to say on the JFK show.
Well, right. What are they going to add? I didn't look around and see any of them there.
Oh no, they were. There was at one point there was Barry, there was Zach, there was Dylan, all on the call at the same time. But if anybody else wants to add in, if you're on the Charles.Ochelli Skype list, you can add in via Skype. And if not, the phone line is open at 718-717-8296.
You actually sang the number.
Did I?
Oh my God.
I don't pay attention to what the hell I say.
What's wrong with you?
Is there a copyright on that?
There might be.
There may be.
There
You
is
gotta
now.
watch.
What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. Now I don't remember.
You're asking me for what's in your brain?
Mm-hmm.
The wrong person. to
No,
ask.
you should know.
I don't know. I should know according to you, but I don't.
Yeah. The neighbors next door are having this big old party, and it's really starting to piss me off. 'cause
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
getting
like their
kind of
music.
annoying. I don't know if you can hear that thudding noise, but it is actually.
What's up with that? Why do you gotta blast the bass like that? My entire chest vibrates.
I don't know. I'm white. Anyway.
Me too.
Yeah, I can't dance either.
But my whole chest is vibrating. I'm trying to
I can-
watch television and, chill out after putting a baby to bed, and my whole chest is thumping.
I know. But I mean, and look, I can dance and I can actually play drums, but point is, I still don't understand what the overdriven bass is about. Never have.
No, it gets on my last good nerve, too. If it was like Alice in Chains or something like that, or Pearl Jam, I wouldn't mind it so much. Did
Well-
anybody hear I didn't know Nikki Sixx had a new band. It's called 6 a.m. SIXX.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I happen to like a couple of those things. What kind of music y'all listen to?
I like what I listen to when I'm picking it is really, really old country.
Uh-oh.
like really old country. But the flip side to that is I also go for thrash metal.
Hank Williams Sr.
Hank Williams the third, Hank Williams Sr. Yeah, have you heard the third?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, he's pretty diverse.
Why do you smoke or whatever the hell, right? Isn't
Yeah.
that him?
Well, him and his grandpa both did that song, but yeah.
But the newer version is him.
The newer, well, yeah, there's a Hank Williams the third.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
I like the Seattle bands. Pearl
Yeah.
Jam, Soundgarden.
Yeah, she loves that grunge element stuff. I'm all over
Right.
it on that. I love some old blues. I love old rock. I love newer, heavier stuff. Mostly anything that's moody as hell, I like it.
Gotcha.
Country, though, modern contemporary country gets to me. When I was working recently, holy God, I felt like I was being brainwashed. And and I looked at, because it was the same songs, they played it at about the same time of day. No, I'm serious. It's just like the pop state. Look, the pop stations up.
They all do it. Every genre does it.
Oh yeah, but it gets to you when
There's my Daniel.
we have
been
another
infiltrated.
edition. We have another addition to the
Hello,
show, and
Mr. Crumpton.
God knows what the hell will happen now.
How are you this evening, Mr. Crumpton?
But back to finishing my thought really
I'm
quickly.
sorry, I interrupted.
Just want to finish my thought really. You can interrupt me. You know you do. It's okay.
Hey!
Much love.
Oh,
Okay, moving on.
Much love my ass.
That too. The thing is that the repetitive nature, with which they played that stuff made me crazy. And there was a guy who was working beside me every single day who told me, I grew up listening to nothing but country music. This is perfectly normal to me. But after going through it every single day at work, like after about a week, after I said something about being brainwashed, he just looked at me one day, stopped me from working because we're working with power tools. And he made me stop what I was doing. I said, what? He goes, you know what? I think you're right.
He's a cute kid.
Sure.
He's a kid.
They are
He's only
brainwashing
20 years
us.
old. He's adorable.
So,
He is. I wanted to take him under my wing and make everything okay for him.
You always want to do that with everybody. Thus,
I save turtles.
I know you do.
Yeah. I stopped traffic to save a turtle.
She did. She almost got her ass hit too to save
That's
the damn
not
turtle.
good.
But anyway,
It's a turtle.
now we have no idea what the hell's going to happen
Oh.
because Daniel Lewis Crumpton is here.
Crumpton.
Knock, knock.
What is that heavy breathing?
Wait, knock, knock. He says.
Who's there?
Michael Slager.
Michael Slager. Who?
You're under arrest. Put your hands behind your back.
Oh, it's that guy that sounds like Dave Ramsey.
He stole my taser.
Yeah, okay.
Fucking
For one
lying
thing,
bastard.
I'm not trying to be insensitive, but son of a bitch, have we not crossed the threshold in this country already? I mean, putting all humor aside for a minute, that was the sickest thing I've seen in a long time. And what makes it even sicker was the guy ran back to get the taser, as if, I guess he didn't know anybody was recording. But, people, when you talk about police brutality, these police stations are saying these are isolated incidents. That's bullshit. This is happening on
Every day.
so frequent of a basis, and now, thankfully, now everybody's got a camera just about. But that dude, if there hadn't been, I'm telling you right now, if there had not been a camera filming that incident, that cop would not have been indicted.
No,
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely
And you
right.
know what the flip side of that is, Daniel, is that the thing that has made me crazy over the years is people used to complain about the concept of Big Brother. We have it now. It is absolutely out there. You can't escape anywhere without being surveilled by video in one way or another. And sometimes it's a damn good thing.
Yeah.
Because in this case, this guy was acting with impunity, believing that there was going to be no way that there would be a witness in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
And I'm just as pissed off to see this. And let me just say this. I'm just as pissed off to see this as I was to see Kelly Thomas choking to death. Okay? Or as I was to see Eric Garner choking to death.
Mhm.
Or as I was, and how many other names. And it's not, and I know that Black Lives Matter is moving forward with all this stuff, and they're right. But what the hell, man? All of our lives matter, and this is out of control.
And it's not just black victims either. That's bullshit. They are heavily targeted. That's true for victimless crimes like a damn tail light. They are pulled over more, but white people are getting shot. Just so let's not make it a race thing. What this is a authoritarian police officers mentality that they're the boot. That's what the problem is. It has nothing to do with race.
Well, I told
Exactly.
you that
And I'm
story.
sitting here thinking, and I'm like, I'm sorry, Kim,
That's
but
okay.
it's like, let's use some logic here. Let's pull out our logical scales. Tail light is equal to the balance of a life.
But here's the fucked up thing: he was pulling into a goddamn auto part store, like a Napa or a AutoZone or some shit like that.
Yeah.
That's what he pulled into.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Even so,
it's a broken fucking tail light.
whatever he was doing and evading the police still does not equal the death penalty. I said this before regarding the whole thing in Ferguson. Tell me that stealing blunts and being a menace is equal to the death penalty. Tell me that being a vagrant with a mental problem in California, Kelly Thomas, is equal to the death penalty. Tell me that a boy playing with a toy gun in any way, shape, or form, even if he did actually have some sort of a weapon, tell me that that's actually equal to the death penalty.
What happened to shoot to injure?
Shoot to injure?
Like hit
Gone.
them in the leg. Well, they do it in other countries.
Yeah, but they also
yeah,
have it
but
with
our
tasers.
training here is shoot to kill.
I think I wouldn't even be opposed to pushing in type of legislation to make it so that police officers don't have firearms anymore. You know, if you want to have your taser, your mace, whatever, but this is getting out of hand. This is getting out of hand.
I would actually support that that idea, Daniel.
At the very least, keep your firearm locked in the car like your AR-15, you know, so that you have time in between an altercation to, you know, if somebody's running away or whatever, you have time to weigh logically if it's worth deadly force or not. This is getting stupid, you know. The roles of what they're of them being public servants has been totally turned up on its head, and you know. When, at least when I was a kid growing up to an extent, you felt comfort when you saw a cop. You knew everything was okay. But now, man, everybody gets paranoid and that's not right. And they really need to look at this. They really, really need to look at this because, you know, and I don't advocate violence whatsoever, except in the case of self-defense. But Americans are going to get sick and tired of this, and they're going to start shooting back.
I hope they. Well, I mean, I hope they do, but then in the same time, I hope they don't because I don't want, you know, more lives taken, whether it's a cop or not.
But that is exactly the point, Daniel, is that they're pushing this. This is the way that this is what the design was all about. This is what ramping it up and making sure that these guys were well armored, well intimidating, that, you know, they raised physical standards to make sure that this, that, the third thing. This is the whole point, is to make sure that we're engaged in a confrontational relationship with those who are supposed to be protecting and serving. That is exactly by design.
Yep.
And you can track the origin, at least the ramping up of it to 9/11.
Yeah.
Well, that's the acceleration point.
That was the catalyst.
Yeah, that's the catalyst for the acceleration.
Well, when they were tagging plates, you know, whatever, scanning that asshole in the Family Dollar parking lot. When they arrested me,
I know.
I was first of all, the cops in town know me, in a town we used to live in, and I had my kids with me. How much of a fucking threat am I for expired registration? This guy blocked me in, followed me to the next parking lot, blocked me in, came out with his hand on his gun, and here I am, 5'3", nothing, and he's getting all loud and gonna throw me on the ground and arrest me in front of my two kids until another cop came along. And this, again, was a rookie, so I think a lot of them have, you know, big balls, if you will. You know, look at me. I have a uniform and a badge and a gun, so, you know, obey. Until this other sergeant came and said, well, no, I know her. I'm going to put her in the car with the kids, and we'll go to the police station. And then I happen to know, I think I told this the first time I had my show, and then I knew the sergeant and the captain and everybody else simply from being on the EMS in town. And all of a sudden, this cop's attitude changed. He's trying to joke with me and whatnot. I was like thinking to myself, fuck you, asshole. You just treated me like I robbed the goddamn Wawa, you motherfucker, when all I had was an expired registration.
Yeah.
You dick.
I was thinking about this the other day after our conversation about police brutality. When I was younger, way younger, you know, I've always had an affinity for trench coats and long things and things like that. But just to show the mentality of it, my sister had at her job, she got like 2 free tickets to the local fair. I was early 20s at this point, and yeah, it's like during fall, whenever this happened, so it's pretty chilly outside, and all she had to do was, drive a tractor and take people from their cars to the front gate and whatever for a couple hours, and we got into the fair for free, and nobody wanted to go with her. So I went with her and rode in a stupid tractor for a little bit. But, when it was time for us to go into the fair, I don't know, it was like 30 degrees. It was pretty cold. And me and her just walking along, right? And all of a sudden, I swear to God, this dude looked just like Robert Patrick from Terminator 2. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Like the short. I'm 5'5", so this guy's a little shorter than me. But he walked up to me. I mean, I almost heard dun 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 dun. As he came up to me. I swear he had that stance. And this is he looked at me, and me and my sister are looking at each other, and he grabs my coat, right? And this is what he says. He looks at me, and you got to picture Robert Patrick, okay, from Terminator 2. He says, "You cannot wear this." I went, "What?" He says, "You cannot wear this." I said, "What, a coat?" You cannot wear this." I said, "I can't wear a coat." "You cannot wear this." I said, that is all that he said. I was like, "I can't wear a coat." What's wrong? You know what I mean? But it was because it was a trench coat, and he didn't know what kind of weapons I could be carrying, and I was carrying weapons, but that's none of his freaking business. But it was just this whole, and if I would have had the common sense that I do now, I would have fell to the ground and started screaming like he assaulted me. But it was just funny. You cannot wear this.
Oh my God. Well, I tell you what, when I take the baby for a walk down the street, I bring my knife.
Yeah.
And I'll use it if I have to. I don't give a fuck.
Well, I don't know. It's getting stupid.
No, it definitely is. But I want to say that this did go before what?
I just wanted to ask Hopper what it's like out that way.
Oh yeah, what are the cops like in Montana, Hopper?
It's kind of a mix, really, but they're getting worse.
They just pull you over and bust your balls for no reason there too?
Yeah, they will.
Oh wow!
I tell you what happened.
I'd say it's about half and half, and the closer you are to any bigger metropolis, the worse it is.
Well, I'll tell you what happened in a part of New Jersey, which is near Asbury Park, which is not a major city, but is a fairly well-known little area, mainly for Bruce Springsteen and all that kind of crap. But
I have one when you're done.
I used to live in that area, right? So, all right, I'm going. I was going bowling. I got to think about this a minute. I'm going bowling. I know that sounds crazy,
bowling?
right?
That's fucking funny.
Because I used to get
all right, go ahead.
drunk and just go, "Let's go bowling," stuff like that.
I've been a league bowler.
Listen, this is what Heavy Metal Dude did on his days off. Okay,
awesome.
Where it was like, "Gee, I have nothing to do."
Well, if you were with me, we wouldn't have been bowling.
I'm sure of that.
Go ahead.
But once you've worn the girlfriend out, it's time to decide what adventure you get yourself into.
Oh, that's a big old pat on the back if I ever heard one. Holy shit.
Here we go. Ready?
Nice.
Okay.
All right. Sorry,
Now,
go ahead.
excuse me. Anyway, back to it. So we're going to go bowling. So I take the worn out girlfriend and my buddy who's driving, barely.
Nice.
Anyway,
Okay.
so we get in the car and we go pick up this friend of his, which is a girl, and she gets in the front, so I'm in the back with the girlfriend, right? Okay, so we're about to go about 5 miles to go to the bowling alley.
Yeah.
We get to a DWI checkpoint, okay? And this is mid-90s New Jersey.
Those are fucking stupid, too. But go ahead.
Yeah, that was hysterical. So he just goes, "Screw this, I don't want to get caught in this, let's go around it." So he starts to go around it, and I guess somebody saw him do that. Three police cars swooped down on this car before anybody got out. So, cops in a town that is familiar with me, in a town that everybody in this car is familiar with, that we all went to high school in this town at one point or another, are converging on the car with their hands on their weapons. Okay, no mace, no taser at this point, just the gun.
Right.
All right. So they want the driver out of the car right now. So they yank him out and start asking for the papers and this and that. He goes to reach back into the car for the papers, and a gun gets drawn. Okay, and he's like, "Whoa, what do you want me to do?" So meanwhile, I'm just sitting there, and there's just lights flashing everywhere, and I'm trying to ignore it and be cool about it. And then they demand that not only does he not go in the car, but that he asks the girl to get the papers, but then they want me out of the car. So they take me out of the car, and then they separate us. Now, meanwhile, the guy that I'm with is not intoxicated. Mm-hmm. I am. Okay?
But you're not
But I'm in the back seat.
Right.
So where are you going intoxicated? I'm like, I'm not really intoxicated. I've had a few drinks, but as long as I could conduct myself in a, reasonable way, I thought it would be okay for me to go out in public, officer. So, oh, you're getting smart with me, huh? Pulls up his radio and he is like demanding ID from me and everything, still with his hand on his weapon, standing 3 feet from me, which I thought was the dumbest ass thing ever. Because if he had drawn that thing, I could have interfered with it with no problem.
Right.
21 feet.
What's that?
21 feet?
Oh, not even. Mm-mm.
No, it's 21-foot rule.
Yeah, right.
You can take a man with a gun if you're within 21 feet.
Yeah, I know that, but within 4 feet,
Yeah.
he's not even drawing that sucker. Okay.
I would have kicked him in the balls.
Well, I'm cool about this, but he grabs his radio with his other hand and gets on it and says, "Get back to me really quickly with this guy's ID." He's kind of a Charles Manson looking guy.
You did kind of look like him when you were younger.
I know. At one point,
you crazy fuck.
Yeah, well.
All right, go ahead.
So this whole thing is going on. Meanwhile, I've got a sober driver. I've got 2 girls in the car peeing themselves pretty much because they've never had police interaction. Okay?
What a wuss.
I go to raise up one of my hands, not thinking, because...
Is that when you got hit with a flashlight?
No, he didn't hit me with the flashlight. Oh. But he just about pulled his gun, and I was demanded to get on the ground. Meanwhile, I'm a passenger in a vehicle, okay, and all this other stuff. Weirdest thing ever happened to me in my life. They run things through. I don't have any warrants. He wants to double check, do I have warrants? The driver doesn't have warrants. The girls never got asked anything. They're just sitting there. And this whole incident took about 45 minutes.
That's some fucked up shit. You just wanted to go bowling.
45 minutes because I wanted to go bowling.
Did you go bowling?
No.
Oh, I bet not.
Wow, so it wasn't even worth it.
No, we ended up going back to my house and asking each other questions for the rest of the night.
Heidi.
What the hell just happened?
When I was like 17, I was in a car with a guy, and we were in a park. We weren't doing anything. We were just sitting there.
Hussy.
I know.
Sure you weren't hussy.
No, I really was not.
I don't think anybody in here believes that.
Well,
Hussy.
Theme song, Daniel.
Watch it.
No doubt, right? But this cop, like, for a half an hour, kept asking me if I was okay. And I'm like, I'm fine. I'm fine. The guy was from New York, so it was New York plates. I told you that was the other singer that I went out with. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But he had the long hair and whatnot, and it was literally a half an hour thing. He kept shining the flashlight in the car, and I mean, Jesus,
you can tell me if there's something wrong. You can just tell me, and everything will be all right.
Right, and I'm like, no, everything's cool. We're good. We're just trying to figure out where we're gonna go.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
If anything is wrong,
I wasn't hussy like that. Well, yes, I was.
We're here to help.
The drunk bowling story brings me to tonight's funny. If you're ready.
Oh no!
I just was gonna.
I heard last week's, Daniel.
Right, and with about 26 minutes left, I am so much anticipating this.
When we record that interview, Daniel, bring one to the table, please. I'll need a good laugh.
And I'm going to apologize to you on air, Dylan. I'm sorry our ships have crossed in the night the past couple of days, but I'll make it up to you.
Oh, that's so romantic, Dan.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh my God, you're so sweet. Oh, there goes my YouTube.
All right.
Ready?
Yep.
Okay, this is something I wrote a couple of years ago. During that time in my life, that special time. It's called flirting.
Wait. Before you do this, Daniel, please let me say to the listener that if there is any indication of violence or any sort of other offense to another human being contained in Daniel's following speech, please do not take it as some sort of realistic accounting of an event. This may very well be fiction, or at least in part fiction. So
it may be completely true.
And the names of the guilty have certainly been changed.
I'll tell you what. I'll read it, and then at the end of it, you guys can say fact or fiction, and then we'll discuss. Okay?
Oh, God. Now I'm afraid.
I am too.
Hey, this little piece is called Flirting with Chaos. Flirting with chaos is something we all do from time to time. What is it exactly? Well, flirting with chaos just so happens to be those moments in life when you stand a little too close to the fire pit and smell your eyebrows singe, or when you lean in just a little too close to the train as it whizzes past and clips off some skin from the tip of your nose. It's those times in your life where you throw your hands up in the air and decide you're just not going to decide for a while. May the chips fall where so they may. You've been there, and I've been there, and everyone you and your uncle knows has been there. It's funny to hear backbiters slander others who are flirting with chaos at a certain moment in their life because they know full well they probably have a few illegitimate youngins with that slut themselves. Whenever you flirt with chaos, it's typically when you fail to realize you've been at this point in your life before, and the mistakes of your past keep slapping you in the face again. Only this time with trendier clothes and eye thingies. It's this phase we go into when we allow our ship to go off course, to lose sight of our star, and sail into troubled waters. We just let go and act on whims, doing the darndest things and saying the most asinine words in the most profound ways. We ruin relationships with people we love and form new bonds with people we weren't in relationships with before. We burn bridges while building a stronger and new ones at the same time. And though while in the midst of this evolution in life it feels as if a whirlwind is tearing through the Smallville of your mind, I assure you all the pieces of the puzzle will form a picture when you figure out where the last piece goes. So don't panic. Everything truly is going to be okay. Let me elaborate with a parable if you don't mind. Flirting with chaos is like flirting at a bar. Don't do it. I know. You think I'm trying to ruin all your fun, but you're going to have to listen to me for a few minutes and really let what I'm saying sink in. So let's say you and some buddies just got back from a really exciting rally or attended a kick-ass activist event, right? You're pumped, you're feeling good, you want to celebrate. Someone mentions heading out to a club or a bar, and you say to yourself, why the heck not? Now, in that time, that in and of itself is innocent enough, and so far so good. However, when you guys get there, a strange transition starts to take place from feeling good and pumped to feeling more like the Twilight Zone. There are flashing lights, unbearably loud music, and this one pot-bellied chick in the back pouring salt in her can of Natty Light that scares the crap out of your irises so bad you hear them scream. Oh, and of course, she has a lit and half-broken Pall Mall hanging from her bottom lip, hanging on for dear life to the 2 or 3 coats of lipstick on Chickadee Smackers. Other than her, the place is pretty, what do the kids say, thumping? Pretty sure it's thumping. Well, if it's not,
I don't know.
You know what I mean. So let's just go with thumping at the risk of dating ourselves. All right, so the place is thumping, and you have a Jack and Coke in your hand and trying desperately to sip it as you bob your head to a techno remix of Adele's Rolling in the Deep. Yeah, you're that drunk. Adele's Rolling in the frickin' Deep. Anyway, you're doing your vulture thing, slowly craning your neck from one side of the bar to the other, and then pow, you spot you some vittles. She's doing that strange twerk thing to Garth Brooks' I Got Friends in Low Places, and you were of the opinion that she's pretty much matching the beat. Seemed like a good thing at the time anyway. So you nudge your buddies and give them a wink as if to say, watch this, hardy har har. Then it's your best wobbly swagger over to Little Miss Can't Do Wrong. You tap her on the shoulder like Prometheus tapping the clay of mankind alive. She turns, and instantly there's a sparkle in the eye and a curl of the mouth, and things are off to a head start. You have to lean in close to her to say anything because the music is so loud, which is a plus because you have no choice but to come inside her territorial bubble so you can at least make your sales pitch. I mean, come on, fair is fair, right? You wind up, you make the pitch, and it's typically some prose from a poem you scribbled earlier in the day or a line from Shakespeare or something sappy like that. You feel a connection. Seems to be going well, and pfft, recording has ceased. This is the part where you finally stop the slapping hands of past mistakes from perpetually flattening your nose. And why? Because you wake up in a cold sweat. Because you know something happened the night before. But the VHS is still stuck in the VCR slot, and you don't know what kind of movie you rented. Was it a comedy? Was it a horror? Maybe a dramedy even. The memories were trapped in there somewhere. You could feel those little suckers, but your hangover is preventing the puzzle pieces to simply fall into place. What happened? Did I hit it off with Miss Sparkly Eyes, or did I crash and burn? Oh, crap. What if I crashed and burned in front of all my wingmen? What are they going to think of me? What kind of Snickers am I going to get the next time we hang out? What kind of rumors are going to be whispered on back channels? Did I get a tattoo? Please, God, tell me I didn't get a tattoo. I never want to get one of those things, unless it's the Star Trek Delta shield over my right heart. That'd be pretty pimp tight. If I had that tattoo, I'd always be tapping it and rapping with the Enterprise. And if I swear, if I did get a tattoo, I'm going to shoot myself, unless it's the Star Trek Delta shield. Then, oh well, I'll get over it. Wait a minute. What if I didn't crash and burn? Maybe I actually pulled it off and got a phone number or something better. Better check my pockets. What the hell? Why is there a gummy worm in there? Oh well, no bother. Wait, what if she came home with me? What if, oh no, what if I'm going to have some psycho chick in my shower when I go in there? What if she's one of those clingy, whiny types? What if, man, so I so cannot afford a litter of chaotic kids running around right now. The possibilities are endless when trying to determine how flirting with chaos will turn out for you. You just never know, do you? The cold sweat of endless outcomes, both good and bad, pushes through your pores like bowling balls. It's like you woke up from a nightmare, but for the life of you, you can't remember what it was about. This is what flirting with chaos will do to you. Shatter your mind into 1,000 pieces that will fall to the floor. At this this point, you are left with two choices. Do you proceed to walk over them and let your feet bleed out? Or do you carefully pick up the pieces and do something useful with them, like glue them onto a pretty vase or something artsy like that? You know you want that shiny vase, so grab your dustpan, kiddo. Thank goodness one of your wingmen gives you a wake-up call to make sure you didn't end up sleeping in the bathtub with a half-eaten burrito, and you ask him to fill you in on the gaps of what happened the night before to ease your worried mind. As it turned out, just after they deduced that A, you were heading into a world of making oneself look like a douchebag, and B, thank God there are blue lights in this bar, your wingman noticed the tan line discoloration on her ring finger. Well, what do you know? Taint's no ring on it. This is flirting with Miss Chaos. Just before you get caught up in a web of problems you don't need, your wingman grabs you by the shoulder and pulls you back from the imminent demise. Bar's closing, bro. They're about to shut us out. We got a ride. Thus, you were saved from the possibility of having to shake off baby mama drama by the watchful eye of a faithful friend. Put that on a fortune cookie. So, if you are in that phase of your life where all the chaos around us has made you apathetic and seemingly without hope, shake it off. If you're in that cycle of life where you aren't doing as much as you know you're capable of, where you feel like making it through each day is like walking through a swamp and you just don't want to do it anymore, if you stop caring if your life had meaning anymore and have given into that notion that there is no happiness left, then you are most certainly flirting with chaos. And like I said in the beginning, don't do it. You're better off going out beneath the great Dooku tree and placing some stones before it to start your next Zen garden and laying on it to watch the stars enshine us. Meditate a little, listen to some tunes, and get your head together. Who wants to pick Miss Chaos up at a bar when Lady Liberty could just be down the street at the drugstore you will shortly be attending to get something for that headache? You never know. You two might hit it off pretty good. I know it's tough times out there, but we can't let it water down our passion and thirst for life because, hey, tough times are a part of life, and getting wounded goes along with it. But life is still life. Life will go on. And next time you go to a bar, order a mineral water, or you just might wake up with you and your ex-girlfriend's dog kidnapped and sleeping beside you. Jose Cuervo can make you do some crazy stuff, man. Thank you.
That reminds me of a story I was told once about hogging.
Hogging.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
Yeah. Does
I'm
anybody know
scared.
what that is?
Yes, and I'm scared.
I believe at this point I will assert my Fifth Amendment right to.
Apparently, it's when a bunch of guys go to a bar and they have a contest to see who can pick up the fattest, ugliest chick there, and they take them home. Hence, hogging. Who snorted? That was Daniel. Oh, that's some bad shit right there. Yikes.
Have you ever heard of rodeo? You ever heard of rodeo sex?
Rodeo sex.
Go
I
ahead.
don't believe I've had that.
Go ahead.
Oh no.
It's when
I'm taking my second
Wait,
swig
wait,
of whiskey, so go ahead.
It's when you're making love to your lady and you call out somebody else's name and try to hold on for 8 seconds.
Yeah. Now that's a bad moment right there. If I don't kill the mood, nothing will. What? Susie? I ain't no fucking Susie. Who you calling Susie?
I'm literally joking.
Chuck,
Yes.
Kim, is this what usually goes on during your show?
Absolutely.
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna be a regular now.
Honey.
This is fun.
See, now my nickname, Chuck used to call me Kimmy Chaos. That's pretty bad.
There's a reason
Used
to that.
Used to?
No, well, you still do? No, you do not. You like that chaos. Who you kidding?
Once again, I assert my Fifth Amendment right
Stop it.
against self-incrimination.
Stop it. Just think how boring your life would be if you weren't with me. Don't assert nothing. Just be quiet.
Once again, I assert my Fifth Amendment privilege.
By the way,
he'd have the internet.
By the way,
that is a dangerous thing too.
just to let you know, after that piece came out, okay,
Yeah.
Jason Patrick, my friend,
Yep.
he came over to the house with this eat shit grin on his face, right? And he goes, man, if people only knew, if they only, because I had just kidnapped my ex's dog, like that night.
Oh, that's but I got to say, that's a true story, I bet you.
That's a true story.
I figured as much.
That's a true story.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
funny.
I kidnapped the shit out of that dog.
I do want to state though, for the record, that I have never woken up next to somebody and not known what happened.
I don't believe that.
You're a better man than me.
Glenn, to see Dylan's on my side for my show.
I am.
It's snowing.
But you have had that moment where it takes a second for it to process it. Like when you first wake up, you're like, oh shit. And then it slowly reassembles in your head like a transformer.
Oh, yes. Yes. And Optimus Prime
I am Optimus
comes
Prime.
out of nowhere,
Yeah.
hooks up to it, and I go, oh, that's what happened.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I'm
Yeah.
happy to say I never had one of those moments.
I could
I
never.
don't believe that either.
Well, you should. I'm a good girl.
Anyway.
Hey!
See, I'm neutral here.
See,
Safe bet.
quickly,
I
Dylan
told you he was
assumes
smart.
neutrality.
Smart boy.
I did take a shot of my medicinal whiskey during your discussion there because it was just,
I had two.
again, hysterical.
That's some nasty shit, too.
Okay, I'm gonna have to come on here regularly. This is fun.
Yeah.
Mr. Hopper's very quiet.
Oh, I just came in from a cigarette.
Oh, wow, you missed it. You missed it.
No. I was listening. I could hear it. I just was
Oh.
outside.
All right. I don't
Cool.
wanna
I
lose
had
any of my
speaker up.
friends.
It's snowing right now.
Get the fuck out of here.
No, it is.
Oh, man.
It snows almost every month.
Mm.
In July?
Sure.
Shit. You
It
didn't
don't
tell
stick
me
to the ground. It don't like stick on the ground or nothing, but it'll snow.
that. So
Oh,
we'll be
that's-
outside in shorts, hanging out, drinking a beer, and it'll just start fucking snowing?
Yeah.
Wow. I'd have to be high to be able to process that.
Sounds pretty cool.
Oh, man.
There's that evil giggle that I have.
I'm so comfortable.
Yeah, what?
Hey, the fireworks. When it
I'm going
snows
to
on the
get
4th
soda
of
to mix
July,
with this nasty ass whiskey. That's some foul shit.
Kim.
No, she just walked away to go get something to mix
okay.
the medicinal whiskey.
Fucking music.
Okay.
I'm gonna
I'll
go
wait
out
till she
and
gets back.
be all crazy white bitch on their ass.
Good luck with that.
Chuck, I didn't know you ran this kind of show.
I don't run this. This is Kim's.
It's not his show.
That's it.
He's just on the crazy train.
Listen, exactly.
Hey,
She just keeps him chained to the chair so that it doesn't go off air.
See, Hopper knows the game.
Yeah.
Well, this is my first time, so I'm still learning.
like it or you don't.
Oh.
Don't give a fuck. How's that?
Hey, Kim, are you back?
I'm here.
Now she's back.
Okay, now check this out. When
All right.
every now and again, when it actually snows on the 4th of July, we get these fireworks. They're mortars. I don't know if you guys get them back there, like 2 and 3 inch mortar shells.
No, they
You
have
blast
50
them off.
fireworks here.
Okay. Well, you blast them off. They're not like the really big ones, but they go up 150 feet in the air and blow up and everything, right?
Cool.
Well, when it's snowing and you do those, it looks awesome
All right.
because all the snowflakes light up for a second. in
Oh,
the
that's
sky.
pretty.
Yeah, it looks really wild.
Just hit my head.
That bumped your head on the microphone. See, this is what goes on.
Listen, you.
I'm loving it. This is like the Skype chat room I'm in.
Right. What was being explained when you were out of the room was that it's not my show. Hopper made that point because Dylan said, well, I didn't realize you ran a show like this. I said, I'm not running it. And Hopper said,
This is
no,
my baby.
she just chains him to the damn chair while he has to sit there.
I do not. You're free to leave if you want to leave me. There's
Well,
no wrecking ball or whatever the fuck tied to your ankle.
Kim, he may be allowed to walk away, but his brain won't let him leave.
Aw.
He's having too much fun with this.
See?
He's there for the duration.
You poor bastard.
Yeah,
Total-
Chuck, I never knew the pain you went through.
I have plenty of respect.
I get no respect
What
over
the
here.
fuck are you kidding?
So I started some seeds today.
What kind of seeds?
Marijuana seeds.
There we
See,
go.
I told you. That's what I want to do. I want to plant a little farm
Yeah, well,
with some tomatoes and some
I know.
pot plants.
Just don't mix them together.
And I'm eating a pot brownie right now.
Oh, I'm jealous.
Uh-huh.
Is it good?
Why would you want
I'll
to
let you
corrupt
know.
the Why would you want to add something to brownies? Brownies are great on their own.
But they're great when you can sit there and giggle for no reason. Great.
You'll figure that out later, Dylan.
Oh, man. Just don't let your parents listen to this one, Dylan.
Oh,
That's what I got.
I've got headphones in. Don't worry.
I'll be
Dad.
Who's that crazy bitch you're talking to? Oh my god.
You heard the Ron Paul story, right?
You told us in the first hour.
Okay,
Oh,
no, I
yeah.
was just making sure you were there
You
for
only
it.
had one shot of whiskey.
What? I'm not
You might need
confused. I
another
just
one.
didn't know if Dylan heard the story.
I'm going on 3.
I am lucid. Even if I'm drunk, I'm lucid. You know that.
I know. I got to be careful if I get you drunk because you might spill some stories that I don't want people to know.
That's that.
Problem.
Here's what
Chuck.
the problem is, and here's what the deal is. If I wind up drinking during my show and am lit by the time Kim comes on air on one of these Saturdays, you guys will hear what happens when I have no filter. And
Yeah.
You have a filter?
Spanking.
oh, I have a filter. Of course, I have a filter.
So what? We get the straight pond water.
You would get like just I don't give a shit what anybody thinks
You shouldn't
at
anyway.
all.
Fuck that.
I consider my comments and
I
things a
don't
lot
give a
of
shit.
times. I try to be courteous to people. There will be
Fuck
no
that too.
courtesy. There will be no
Give
nothing
unto others as they
except
give to you.
yeah. But here's the thing: sometimes those realities that start coming out of my mouth if I've been drinking,
Well, then you
it's-
better not tell my
it's like
secrets.
sodium pentothal.
Oh my God!
You-
I'll have to ban you to the living
You
room
might have to.
that day.
You might
'Cause I
have
some
to.
secrets that need not come out.
Oh man, now you've given me a preview. I want to see this.
It's like, oh my God,
This might happen next week if
my eyes are burning.
if finances improve by next week. This might happen next
It'll
Saturday.
be fine.
Well, I will be here next
Lots
week.
and
Then
cranberry.
I'll be here. I'll be here every week until that happens.
Oh, here we go.
Chuck's gonna come on and go, "Fuck it, I killed Kennedy. It was me." Grassy knoll, bitch.
I had the remote control on 9/11, bitches. Deal with it.
It was me.
Indict this, motherfucker.
Indict these. Indict these. These nuts.
You know,
What of it?
to Hopper and his wife, I was looking at the pictures you sent along with the motorcycle for Francis, and I'm thinking, you know how cool it would be to climb up that little ladder and sit on top of that with some lawn chairs and look at the stars? That would be awesome.
You know you're almost out of time.
Oh my God. That sucks.
See, I'm here to watch the clock,
See,
too.
I could have like 2 more hours because this is fun.
Can we keep going?
No. Well, we can privately if we like to, but our poor friends in the chat room will not be privy to that conversation.
That's okay. Because, look, if anybody wants to call 718-717-8296.
Just to call in and say happy birthday to Hopper.
There you go.
And hi, Mrs. Hopper. She and I are going to get along
there
good.
she is.
I know she's there. I heard her before. She was in there. She and I are going to get along good. I'm telling you.
Daniel, can I call you up after the show?
No, you may not. How's that?
So says D.L. Crumpton spokesperson Kim Ochelli.
I could be your agent, Daniel.
She
I'm
has
a
to crack.
I am a ruthless business bitch. Let me just tell you. No, I'm not. Oh my
I
God.
know how. Well, I know how you and Chuck operate. Then
I'm not a hostage here or anything, am I?
No.
Okay.
The door is not locked.
Stockholm Syndrome.
Not yet, at least. You've been MK.
Stockholm Syndrome.
No, MK Ultra. I actually put some stuff in your soda earlier.
Nice.
Maybe I shouldn't have another sip of whiskey.
I think you
Because we
should.
didn't have dinner, so I haven't eaten.
You're
anything
flagged.
since our
All right, that's it.
sandwich.
You're flagged.
And I ain't flagged.
You're flagged.
Shit, no.
You're flagged.
It's still 3/4, half.
Yeah,
a
I
quarter.
need that is the medicinal whiskey.
Fuck that. This is my
That is-
mommy's medicine.
That is mine, and it's the medicinal whiskey.
I'll buy you some one day.
Bullshit.
No.
Anyway, so you're almost out of time. You want to
I
close
need
out
to
your
get-
show, or
I
you
need
just
to
want to
get
argue with me?
my painkillers refilled.
Oh,
Let me,
okay.
I gotta say this real quick.
Uh-oh. Go ahead.
I was in last time I was in court, listening to arraignments. It was this one like domestic dispute. This young Hispanic girl, right? And they arrested her because she had been drinking and she was breastfeeding, right? So the judge was like, "So basically, you was feeding your baby a white Russian while this ordeal was going on. Is that correct?" I'm sorry, I busted out laughing.
I would have lost it then, too.
Milk, vodka.
What'd she say? Well, White Russian, isn't that Kahlua and cream?
She said, "It is not something to happen all the time. This was very rare occasion. Ex-boyfriend, he's some bitch. He started arguing. I had to drink. I don't even know if that's Spanish.
Chinese.
It's not
Yeah,
Spanish.
I was gonna say when did this Hispanic chick turn
Sorry.
Asian?
Okay, wait. Let me get it right.
It reminds me of this crazy. It reminds me of a crazy Chinese food joint in Jersey City where you got like Mexicans making pizza, Chinese people making tacos.
That sounds like the Chinese place across the street
Right.
from me.
Quick Asian joke. Sorry.
Quick,
Oh, no.
go ahead.
So there was this two Asian couples. They're on their honeymoon, right? And the husband looks at the wife and he goes, tonight honeymoon, we do anything you want to do in the bed. What you want to do? And the wife, she goes, I like to do the 69. He says, you want beef and broccoli?
Hey, 69 is my zodiac sign. I'm getting that tattoo because that's our son's. He's a Cancer too. Poor moody little fucker.
Freudian slip.
Yeah, a little bit. You know, it's got double meaning. Double meaning.
I'll say it.
I haven't laughed this much on air ever.
I'm telling you, because I'm cool like that. That's how I roll.
My oldest boy just got a new tattoo a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
He's 17.
Okay.
It's like 2.5 feet long down the side of his body.
Ow.
It's just a big tribal
Oh, wow.
coming off the shoulder down to his hip.
You have good artists out there?
Oh yeah. A real good friend of ours owns a tattoo shop up at Kalispell.
Sweet.
I need a two-headed king cobra constructed so that the body is in one spot and the heads branch off together.
You also need my name on there.
I need
They do it all up there.
I need a $50 bill tattooed on my phallus because I heard women like to blow money.
Sweet. That is awesome. Daniel.
Okay.
Got that from my dad.
Your dad is awesome.
Can we open the window even though they're playing that fucking bounty
No,
shit?
we're
Can I
almost,
have the MP3, Chuck?
yeah, of course. You can get it right from ucy.tv/jaded.
I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but I'm gonna keep it.
You can.
Yeah, get it right from there. It'll be a YouTube video.
If it doesn't get flagged.
If we didn't violate any copyrights, it'll be a YouTube video in like 2 hours.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Anyway.
okay.
Well, you can always go to ucy.tv and play it there.
That's the other thing. You can
Yes,
get the
you
MP3
can.
right from there.
And because we're trying to move to Montana, you can always donate to the Ochelli Effect so we can get out there quicker. How do you like
There
that
you go.
shit? Hot damn, Hopper, right?
That's
And they're-
right. Everybody drop a dime.
Why would you want to move to Montana?
Because we have two very good friends who have become the godmother and godfather of our son. That's why.
You'll figure that out later, Dylan.
Yeah.
I'm more confused now than I was before, right after I asked the question.
The point. And my bumper's going to kick on, so my AC/DC stripper music.
Oh, it's 2
Start
minutes away.
popping.
Calm down.
We got like 2 minutes left, and it's going to
You got like one and it'll kick, actually.
One.
Yep.
But Daniel, it's always a pleasure to have you call my show.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate calling in. I get more little snippets of funny from you guys than anywhere else.
Just because we're cool like that.
Well, that's also because Daniel is one of the funniest motherfuckers
He is
there
a
is.
funny motherfucker.
And yeah, I just said motherfucker on the air. So deal with that.
Bad.
I cursed.
Ooh.
There you go. I don't usually do that on the air, but there it is.
I bring out the best in people.
He can do that. You alcoholic causing motherfucker.
That's Lewis Crumpton. Check out his books and his poetry. They do cause alcoholism, but they are good.
Because I'm going on my fifth shot of whiskey. Daniel.
Look at my handiwork. I have completed my task.
Pot lace brownies. Right?
Bill's eating pot lace brownies.
I'm drinking whiskey.
Dylan is dazed and
Dylan's like,
confused.
what the fuck's going on?
And
Daniel's
I'm dying over here.
My work here is done. Mwah, mwah.
You're a funny motherfucker, let me tell you what.
and he leaves the stage with the guitar blazing like Hendrix after frickin' Monterey.
Is anybody...
And I'm getting my toes cleaned by my dog.
Ew!
Oh no, it's awesome.
You know what? I told you, you guys have a retarded cat. My retarded dog eats the crotch out of my pants. What the fuck is that?
A couple of pairs of pants.
I literally have no pants left. Shit.
See ya.
Nice weekend.